6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're going to do a deep dive, into Quincy Jones.
Oh, yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Absolutely.
And he just recently passed away. And, we were so sad to hear that. And we've been looking through an article about his life. And wow, there's a lot there.
70 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
A 70-year career.
Yeah, and it wasn't just music, right? I mean, everybody knows Quincy Jones, but he was involved in so many different facets of the music industry.
Absolutely. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was in jazz and pop and soul. He was doing film scores.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. Quincy Jones was there.
Yeah, and this is the thing that really blows my mind, right? Is like most musicians, they find their lane, they stay in it,
Right. They're like, oh, I'm a jazz musician. That's it.
Yeah, and that's all they do, and they do it very well. Quincy Jones was all over the place.
He was.
So what was it about him that...
Well, you have to think about when he was coming up, genre bending wasn't really a thing.
Really?
You stuck to your genre.
Okay.
So what he was doing was really unique.
Wow.
He was taking risks and weaving these different sounds and styles together, and it created something totally new.
Wow, like what?
Well, soul bossa nova.
Oh.
That's a great example.
Catchy tune.
Yeah, and he brought together that jazz sensibility with some Latin rhythms.
Nice.
And it created this sound that was sophisticated.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, catchy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not tap your foot to that.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
And the article also talks about how he was a master collaborator.
Oh, yeah. He was bringing together these incredible groups of musicians.
It's nuts. I mean, the names are legendary.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson, Duke Ellington,
Count Basie,
Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, and Ray Charles.
It's unbelievable.
I know. And again,
it's crazy.
This wasn't standard practice back then.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't just like guest appearances on a track. He was fostering genuine collaborations, creating an environment where all these different talents could feed off each other.
Oh, wow.
You can hear that in the music.
Yeah.
It's a fusion of ideas and styles.
Yeah. It's not just like one guy's vision. It's like the sum of all these incredible parts.
Absolutely.
And that leads us to this term that the article uses a lot, which is super producer.
Yes.
And I feel like this is different than just being a composer or
absolutely.
A band leader, right?
Right. He pioneered this idea of curating and directing entire projects.
Wow. So, give me an example.
Okay, so think about Thriller with Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he wasn't just behind the mixing board,
Yeah.
He was involved in every aspect of that album.
Okay.
From picking the songs to shaping the overall sound and feel of the whole thing.
He was like the director of the album.
Yes, exactly. He was a visionary, bringing together the best musicians, the best songwriters, engineers to create this cohesive work of art.
That's incredible.
And that's what a super producer does.
So it's really like a direct line.
Yeah, you can trace it right back to Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones,
Wow.
And, it's interesting because his family said something that I thought was really beautiful and really true.
Yeah.
They said, there will never be another like him.
Powerful words.
Yeah. And I think it's so true because...
Yeah, and it speaks to the uniqueness of his contributions, You think about just the sheer breadth of his work, his ability to just slide between genres, his collaborative spirit, his influence on the concept of the super producer.
Right.
It all comes together to form this legacy that is pretty much unmatched.
It really is. And it's interesting to think, he did all of this while living in Bel Air.
Well, of course, lap of luxury.
It kind of fits right.
A little bit of Hollywood magic in there. But in all seriousness, it underscores the level of impact he had.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't just successful, he redefined how we think about making music.
He really did.
He challenged conventions, pushed creative boundaries, and left behind this body of work that continues to inspire.
So here's a thought for all of you listening out there.
Okay.
If you could experience one Quincy Jones project for the very first time, which would you choose?
Oh, that's a great question.
And why? There's so much out there. It's tough to choose.
That's a tough one.
But I really encourage you to dive into his music.
Yeah.
And explore his incredible legacy.
Absolutely.
Because there's just so much to discover.
So much there. A lifetime of music.
Really is.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into Quincy Jones. The man, the myth, the legend.
A true legend.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time.